Hello, Confirmation Mentors. In order to help you prepare for this Wednesday's lesson, I'm sending you this short video as we get back in the swing of things after being gone a bit for Christmas vacation and break. So tomorrow night, our lesson will be around the question, why should I follow Jesus? Can't I just say that I believe in him? And our video will set us up for time together to explore that question and look at the differences between believing something and acting on that belief. And of course, Christianity calls us to both, to believe and then to put that belief into action as we follow Jesus. A Bible verse that'll help us set up for the night is from Matthew chapter 4, verses 18 through 20. As he walked by the Sea of Galilee, he saw two brothers, Simon, who is called Peter, and Andrew his brother, casting a net into the lake, for they were fishermen. And he said to them, "Follow me, and I will make you fish for people." Immediately they left their nets and followed him. So as you can see, it's interesting that Jesus didn't ask the first disciples to believe in him right off the bat. He asked them to follow him. And the believing of the disciples comes later and comes fairly imperfectly. They have moments of belief and moments of clarity, but much of the time they follow Jesus around as these kind of haphazard human beings who don't know exactly what they've gotten themselves into, but through following Jesus and taking up those actions, they learn who Jesus truly is, and they come to belief in Jesus. So on this night in confirmation, in your small groups, you'll be helping our young people to see how important action is when paired with faith and what it means to them to follow Jesus. And so in your sheets that you should have in your email from me on the encounter page down at the bottom, and what about the Bible? Let me see if I can get this lined up and steady for you. If you could do this as the kickoff for your small group after your highs and lows together, which should take a little bit since they've been away for a while, have someone read Matthew, those verses I just read to you. It's a short passage, 18 through 20 out of chapter 4. And then have ask the kids if they have questions about the text. And then have them pair up and work in groups to create a set of interview questions that Jesus could have asked people before picking them to be disciples. Notice there was no interview for these disciples. Jesus just walked right up and picked them. And so what questions might Jesus have asked in order to choose really great disciples? And then talk as you work on that, asking them, what do they know about someone that they follow? Maybe it's a coach or a teacher or a friend. And then what might that person want to know about each of them? What's important about them, who they are as followers? And then talk about the question, what would come first for them? Belief or following? Would they want to believe before they followed, or would they want to follow and then believe? Play with that verse a bit and talk about what does it mean that Jesus didn't interview those candidates, that he picked them kind of sight unseen to be followers. Then I'd like you to choose one of the 4 activities for this week out of the workbook that the kids will have in front of them. The first activity is called Imitate, and it's on page 74. You're going to ask the kids to think about something that they in their lifetime, have right here. Imitate, where is it? There. Something in their lifetime that they've become better at by practicing. And the example that the workbook uses is handwriting. So it asks them to say, give a sample of their handwriting from when they were in preschool, when they were 3. What did it look like when they tried to write their name, and how has that improved throughout the years? They can talk about what makes a person a writer or an artist. Is it the level of skill you have in those things, or is it simply that you do them? And leaning toward the side that doing them makes you that. Trying makes you an artist. Swimming makes you a swimmer. It's not necessary to be a champion swimmer or to be a famous artist or writer, but when we practice those things, they become a part of our identity. The second activity is called Paper Airplanes, and this would be a great one for our groups of guys. Girls might enjoy it as well, but guys really who are doers, hands-on, what they're going to do is write a list of why they believe it's fun to throw a paper airplane. And then they're going to take some time to make and throw paper airplanes. And you can talk about the contrast between which would you rather do, believe that throwing paper airplanes is fun, or actually throw paper airplanes and have that fun. So they're going to learn the difference between thinking and believing something and doing and experiencing something. Then try to bring that into faith. Do we just talk about Jesus and the ideas we have and the belief we have, or do we put that belief into action? And how can we do that? Faith, excuse me, faith is a hands-on thing. Activity number 3, community needs. If you want to do this one, bring a newspaper, or some of you have used your smartphones to get news in your small groups and think about those examples. That's great too. Look for some of the ways that faith and action are needed in our world. What kind of needs do our neighbors have near and far, and how might we put our faith into action to meet some of those needs? This guides you through a conversation about what needs do you see at school. Do you know people who are working to meet those needs or the needs of others? And what might we be able to do? What do we believe about following Jesus? Does what you believe about following Jesus influence what you do? For some of our kids, the honest answer is no. Actually, for some of us adults, I'm sure that answer is no as well. But could it? Could we think differently about faith and allow it to affect everything that we do, the decisions we make, how we treat others, wherever we are? That would be a big conversation to have. And then the final one is pretty fun. It's maybe messy, and it's here, number 4, sandwich activity. If you want to do that, I'd love to get an email from you, and I'll go pick up the bread and filling and things that you need for this activity. Basically, this one gets at the importance of both brains, beliefs, and actions, how they work together, they go together. You do something because you believe it, you believe something because you do it. One of the kids is going to have a blindfold, and another kid is going to tell them what to do in order to make a sandwich. So it could be messy, it could be fun. I ask if you do this to please help your kids clean up the area and leave it the way they found it. But if you've got a hands-on group that will benefit from that, more power to you. Go for it. Do it. And then we'll regroup at the end of the night, and we'll talk about, ask kids to reflect on what could God do through them. What special gifts do they have that God could do something in the world through? And then we'll pray together. And if you'd like in your own group to pray, ask your kids to name someone that they know who shows them how to follow Jesus. Talk about that to close, and then pray for those people, thanking God for examples of faith, people who are doers, who act on the belief that they had. And then pray that God would teach each of us to be doers of the word, to be followers of Jesus, not just people who say they believe, but people whose actions match what they say. And that'll be our lesson for the night. Thank you so much for being a part of young people's lives, for being faith formers, for being AAA adults who are authentic and available and affirming. There's really nothing more important than these relationships that you're building. So keep building them. Keep coming to me with questions or ideas if you have them, and blessings as you teach confirmation tomorrow night. Bye-bye.